The secret to stress-free decluttering is something that is so simple, but I feel like most of us overlook it. So in the past, I would declutter when the mood struck, rage purging, rock kicking stuff out the front door.
Party's over! Get out of my house!
Never again would I let the house get this cluttered. And of course, it always would get cluttered again. And with that clutter buildup came built up stress. Even more than the stress of having the clutter around, often the stress that would come with the thought of decluttering was something that I really had to deal with. Let's face it, the motivation that comes with rage purging does not last. I have a busy life with a husband and 3 kids, 5 and under, and rage purging is just not gonna get you there when your goal is to declutter your house. It's basically gonna end in frustration. But I have found a secret, dare I say the secret, to decluttering without stress, and I wanna share that with you. Maybe it can help you. It helped me, so let's go. 12-Week Year, which is by Brian Moran and Michael Lennington. The subtitle in this is what really got me, which is Get More Done in 12 Weeks Than Others Do in 12 Months. That's a big draw for someone who's having trouble getting traction, if you know what I mean. And when I started to read this book, I immediately saw principles in it that apply to decluttering your home. And decluttering it in a way that is not just like the scattershot, chaotic, you know, let's rent a dumpster, I'm tired of all the junk type of way, but in a way that is actually sustainable for someone who has a busy life, which is most of us. So the secret, what is the secret? The secret is having a plan. That's it. There you go. The secret is having a plan. But don't click off this video yet because you may think,
well, of course, you have a plan.
But honestly, most of us don't. Like I said, most of us kind of go in chaotically when we get frustrated and we just think, I have to deal with this stuff, and we start decluttering and then it gets hard. There are so many things in here that directly apply to decluttering your home without the stress and overwhelm. Most of us fail at things like having annual goals or like New Year's resolutions because it's just too long. For me, with decluttering our house, it's like every year you make that resolution, declutter the house. Well, 12 months is a long time. And how are you gonna do it? How are you gonna go about it? More often than not, with most of our New Year's resolutions, if not all of them, we get tired and get stuck 3, 4, 6, 8 weeks in, throw in the towel and move on with life because we hit a barrier, we didn't have a plan, and it's just too hard to keep going. The beauty of the 12-week year is you are looking at your life in increments of 12 weeks. You're not setting a nebulous goal to just declutter your house. No idea of how to get that done. And with a sunset that is so far away, 12 months can feel like such a long time. And it is hard to keep focus for that amount of time. Maybe it's not hard for you. It's definitely hard for me. I have the squirrel syndrome or whatever they call it.
Squirrel!
What is the power of a 12-week decluttering plan? Number 1, it's short enough to be attainable. Number 2, you're using focused energy. So instead of having 25 or 30 goals that you're trying to accomplish, you have a very few goals that you are trying to accomplish and you're focused on those. Number 3, your goals are defined. So with regard to decluttering, for me, my goal in those 12 weeks is not decluttering my house like this big nebulous thing. It is specifically decluttering the kitchen or decluttering the office or decluttering for 5 minutes a day or a 1-hour declutter 1 time per week. It's defined, and so I know exactly when I have accomplished my goal and if I'm making progress. Another one of the main principles in this book that definitely applies to stress-free decluttering is the concept of execution. Effective decluttering is about execution. It's not about having the perfect method. It's not about having the right organizing containers. It's not even efficiency. It's execution. Are you actually doing the decluttering? And the way to consistent execution is through a plan. But what about when you're working your plan and it just gets hard? If you have ever embarked on any sort of decluttering journey or any big goal in your life, you know it gets messy. This brings me to another critical thing I learned in this book that was just a total game changer for me. It is called the emotional cycle of change. And this is a cycle any of us go through when we're making a major change, and decluttering your house definitely qualifies as a major change. If you were trying to go from your house being always cluttered, always chaotic, always feeling like there's stuff everywhere, to a place of calm and peace, feeling like your house is tidy, feeling like it's easy to keep it clean, easy to put things away, you don't kind of just drift into that change or kind of stumble into it. It happens on purpose, but through that change is this emotional cycle that happens. For me, as I read about this cycle, it matched perfectly what I felt the decluttering process was like. So the cycle starts with uninformed optimism, which I think is something all of us can relate to. It's the beginning of a project when you get so excited, you just know it's going to be awesome. You're changing your life. You're turning over a new leaf. From here on out, things are going to be different. House is going to be decluttered. It's going to stay decluttered. Then you move into informed pessimism. I don't even want to tell you how many times I've been in informed pessimism. It's been a lot. And this can be a spot where a lot of people turn back. They started the journey, they're decluttering, and then it's like, oh, this is actually harder than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I think there's other stuff I need to get to. I think this will all just have to go back in the closet and wait for another time.
Then there is the valley of despair. Do I even need to comment on this? Have you been in the valley of despair with decluttering? I definitely have many times. This is where most people give up because it's too hard. It's too hard to go through the clutter. It's too hard to declutter those items. It's too hard to make the change. It's too hard to stop buying stuff. Fill in the blank with what's hardest for you, but that's where all the barriers come up. Everything is arrayed against you, and it just feels like you will never get there. But then you break through that to informed optimism. You're feeling some hope again. You're actually making some progress. You're seeing the floor. You're seeing space in your closet. You're seeing space on the shelves. You've been able to get control on buying things and bringing stuff into the house. And this informed optimism breaks through to success and fulfillment. This is the place we all want to be with our homes, where we feel like we really have conquered the clutter. This is different now. We live differently. Our home is decluttered and it is going to stay decluttered. I had never found words to describe that process, that cycle of emotional change. But when I was reading through it, I was like, yes, this is exactly what it has felt like to declutter our home. This is exactly what it feels like to wade through the difficulty of everything that entails, but then to come out the other side and to know that from this point forward, you're living your life differently and your home is under control. So if the key to stress-free decluttering is having a plan, how do you do that? Where do you start? Well, it's going to be a little bit different for everybody, but in the book, they recommend having long-term aspirations, midterm goals, and then short-term goals. So long-term aspirations are the big dreams that you have for your life, the things that you want to do, the things that you want to accomplish. It's so important to lay that out first because that kind of guides the rest of what you want to do and how you want to get it done. Then there's midterm goals. And so this is where a goal like having a clean, decluttered home would come into play. It's a big goal. It's not the goal of my entire life. It's not a long-term aspiration, but it's a big goal and it's not something that I can just like snap my fingers and accomplish quickly. Then we get down to the nitty-gritty, which is the 12-week goals. Thus name this book, Declutter My Bedroom, Declutter My Closet, Declutter the Garage. You know in your own home the size of different projects, difficult things that you need to go through, things that will take longer to go through if there's going to be a lot to sell, or just things that you need to give away, or just a few things that you need to throw away, and it's not a big deal. I can't say what the right 12-week goals will be for you. But I can tell you for me what my 12-week goals are. Right now it is early October, and so this is the start of a 12-week cycle going into the end of the year. For me, my goal is a 5-minute declutter every day. The beauty of this is that you can personalize it to what you need. If there's a room in your house that you're really needing to hit, you could say that a 12-week goal would be to declutter your kitchen. So you're looking location specific. But for me, I needed the consistency of time. I have little kids. It's very difficult for me to set aside large chunks of time to declutter. That just doesn't happen. But 5 minutes a day I can do. And the beauty of that is, number one, it's short. And number two, it keeps me in that rhythm of decluttering. It keeps me mindful of what's in our home. Do we really need to have this here? And it constantly has me thinking through when I'm out and about, if there's an opportunity to buy something or even to pick up something for free, do I really want to do that? I have been diligently decluttering every day. Do I really want to bring this thing into my home? Is this going to be something that's helpful, something that's useful, or something I am just going to be wanting to drop kick out the front door in 3 months? If you're interested in more on different decluttering methods and maybe one that might suit you, I would recommend checking out this video right here. And I will see you later. Bye.